So today, we're playing the Ranger, and we may have a double run today featuring the brand new items Rat Chef and the Squirrel Archers. The Rat Chef is going to be cooking up some empower buffs, while the Squirrel Archers are set to unleash a flurry of bars to smash our opponents. And we may also be using the THORNBLOOM for some stack and max life. But hey, check this run out and let me know what you think of this build. Okay, let's go and jump some games with the Ranger and try out the new items today. So we're going to want to grab as much bows as possible. We also want to grab our healing herbs. Basically, we do have the new Squirrel Archer and the Rat Chef. As you can see, we do need healing herbs and rats, and we do need squirrels and short bows. And these are going to be awesome later on, so we're going to go ahead and roll. We are the Vine Basket, so we just want to buy everything that's on sale and just keep rolling as much as we can. But I actually would like to take this, but our setup right now is really not great for it. I was really hoping for a wooden sword, but it is what it is. We're going to take the garlic for right now. We're going to reserve our leather bag. We're going to roll on some more to try and get another sale. And we're going to sell this pocket sand to grab another stone. And with that, we're going to move on. And we'll see. Now, we have very little DPS. We do have 4 regen though, and we do have a little bit of block. Now, it would have made more sense to get the banana because with the Vine Basket, we do get healing amplification. We don't get block amplification. So banana wood gives a little bit more heals. However, with that regen, we are healing for quite a bit. Our short bow is actually doing quite a bit of damage. Our opponent doesn't have stamina to keep up with our 2 swords. So we should be able to pass him out. And awesome, win this first round. Just pausing the video here very quickly, just to ask you to subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks. Now let's get back to the video. Really fantastic. Now that is a flame badge, which honestly a flame whip type build would be insane with it. But we're going to grab a short bow. Let's grab a bit of storage. Let's grab the pocket sand, roll once. I'm going to sell our pocket sand because I do want this shiny shell, because that's going to be a bit of a heal. We do want our wooden sword, and we're going to craft up a shell totem. We're going to keep moving. Now, we have doubled our DPS by adding in a second short bow. So we should be able to deal quite a bit more damage while keeping ourselves healthy. Our opponent is stacking up a little bit of poison from that Peasant's Flask, and that blind is going to be a big problem. So unfortunately, they're able to outpace us. Let's grab our wooden sword. Let's grab our healing herbs. Now, should we take a carrot? I think we're going to take it, but we're going to roll once and smash it. That's all we're going to do. We are going to move on. Now, our stamina is not going to be super great with our setup right now. We do have triple weapons. Now, the short bows actually use up a lot less stamina, but still, eventually, our stamina is going to tick down. And we are basically surviving until that battle rage. Now, our opponent is stacking up some spikes, but that's our wooden sword's only going to be the one taking that damage. So it's not too bad overall. We do still have a lot of regen thanks to all these healing herbs. So we should be in a really fantastic spot. And overall, smashing. Now we do have a choice to make. We could take stoned since we have 2 stones, or we could take Smelly Wall. The reason to take Smelly Wall right now is because stoned could show up again, but we only do have 1 garlic. I'm going to take Smelly Wall for now. Now that's a villain sword, which is amazing. But I'm not going to be taking it today, which is craziness. We're going to be taking a carrot. We're going to switch this up like so. Well, it's going to fit you in here because that is a nature item. I'm going to roll again. We're definitely going to take the garlic. We're also going to take the shiny shell since it's on sale. And this is looking pretty good. Now, I don't actually want to craft up these short bows. I do want to keep them open for that Squirrel Archer. So we do have to make use of what we have going right now. So we have tons of regen. We do have a lot of stack and block with the garlics and that Smelly Wall. And we do have scaling and power with our shell totem. So our short bows should be able to scale up a lot of damage. However, our opponent is also scaling up a lot of damage, but their axes actually not hitting because of that little wooden sword. So, luckily, we can outpace him, which is fantastic. Now let's grab our stamina sack. Let's go ahead and grab another set of healing herbs. Let's roll once. I do want 2 shell totems. I think we are going to take a second shell totem along with a big old banana. And we are going to move on. Double shell totems means we're going to get more and more in power, but it will mean that we're going to use up a lot more stamina. Now, our stamina usage isn't terribly bad right now. But adding in that shell totem will make it a lot worse. But once you craft up our Squirrel Archers, our stamina's not going to be too bad whatsoever. However, so far this is looking pretty darn good. Smelly Wall with that block is fantastic. And awesome. Now let's grab our sword. Let's switch this in here. Craft up that shell totem. Let's take our big old banana. Rainbow badge, carrots, all pretty good options. I'm going to roll though. I'm going to swap this in here. Now, I actually do want to reserve this on Den Fidamna, because if this is the Amulet of Feasting, it means our food items are going to trigger faster and faster. which is going to be pretty good for us. Now, adding in a banana is going to help our stamina quite a bit, but it's still going to tick down gradually. As you can see, it's almost already gone, but we'll see. Our opponent actually does have a ton of healing with Slime Time. With that Burning Sword, that Maul Dagger is going to be scaling up as well as that Shell Totem. And they're going to be eating up our Spike Generation. Which shouldn't be too bad. Actually, we have no Spike Generation. Well, awesome. We managed to outpace them, which is fantastic. Now, Bagstones is going to be amazing. That's exactly what we want. We also want this. What's going to be? Damned Steel, which is actually pretty darn awesome. I'm going to roll once. Now, we do also want this Push Balls. I'm going to roll once more. And we are going to want one of these turnips eventually. We're reserved for right now. We are going to take out the Selling Healing Herbs. And we are going to move on with this. Now, with our Amulet of Steel in, with double Garlics, it would be nice to have a triple Garlic. So we can stack up that power a bit more. It just means our stones and our short bow should be dealing a lot more damage. And with our stones in, we don't solely rely on stamina, so it should be fantastic. And that is 7 power. And that is awesome. Really, really, really awesome. So if we do want these Squirrel Archers and this Rat Chef, we do need to go with the big bowl of treats. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And awesome, we got ourselves that Rat Chef. Now we're going to fit Rat Chef down below. Let's add in our healing herbs, which means we can't take our turnips. So I'm going to roll once. And we definitely want another Rat Chef. Now, I'd love to take it this round, but unfortunately, I don't think we can actually afford to take it. I was considering selling our short bow to grab it, or even a card, but we do need to move on with this setup. And also, the big bowl of treats and making our Garlics trigger a little bit faster is going to be awesome for us. And we'll see what Rat Chef does once we craft it up, but it should be fantastic. Now, this opponent is also rocking Shell Totem, but they do have Tusk Poker. They're running Poison Ivy, so they're going to be stacking up that poison, so good thing we do have that cards, even though it's going to be slow. Buff removal, debuff removal. It is going to make it a little bit harder for him to stack up that poison. And overall, smashing. And we got a Rat Chef, which has the effect start a battle for every food item around it, gain 1 regen. Every 5 seconds, regenerate 2 stamina, and gain 1 in power, which is amazing. Triggers 15% faster for each pair of food. But basically, you want as much pets around it so you get that regen. Perfect for a stone golem type build. Now, we do want to have 2 stones. We do need to keep an eye out for more stones. However, we are definitely going to craft up another rat. We're basically just going to have a Rat Chef in this position for right now. It is only 2 regen, but it is what it is. I'm going to roll, and we're about to get our Squirrel Archer, which is going to be awesome too. Let's go to move on for now. We're going to be crafting another Squirrel Archer. We do have a Rat Chef, which is going to give us the same amount of regen as having one of these in, but it does give us that stamina, and it does give us that in power. Increasing the damage on our stones, increasing the damage on our short bows, and overall should be awesome. Our opponent is rocking that double axe. They're going to have that battle rage, but smashing. Overall, fantastic. Now, this is going to be awesome because we can take that stone skill. Other than that, I was either looking for Acorn Ace, but stoned is going to be pretty decent, even though we've only got 2 stones. Definitely could be better if we did have more stones, for sure. And we are going to try and find as much as possible, but they are common items, and it is pretty difficult to specifically find these common items. There's no point in taking Mana Master. We don't exactly use up mana as much. We could take Hardwood, but I don't think we're going to want that either. Now, we could take it. Don't work with short bows. We could add in some wooden swords because we do scale up a lot of power. Let's go and take stone for now. Now, I'm going to take the turnip. I'm going to roll once, and we are going to want this storage. We want that garlic, and that is another stone. Now, we're going to take our garlic, and we're going to take our stone, but unfortunately, we're going to have to wait around to actually add in our turnip. We're going to keep it set up like this for right now. Now, our Squirrel Archer is literally going to steal a random buff, triggers faster per food item or pet, and also deals 2 to 9 damage, and it's going to get the benefit of that in power. So it should be awesome. And it also uses no stamina, which is going to be perfect for our setup, making our shell totems even better. And overall, it should be smashing. That is a lot of power, and we do want that THORNBLOOM in as much as possible. So once we add in THORNBLOOM, we're going to be stacking up a lot of max life. And that's another turnip, which we are definitely going to take. Also made a small bit of blunder in the last round by not having our stone beside our amethyst steel. That way our stones actually generate up a lot more block for us. We're going to take a rat. We probably do want to take one of these lucky clovers, and we do want to roll. And let's roll again. Now, pineapple will be really, really good, but we're going to take our fanny pack. And we are going to move with this setup for right now. Now, we should be in a much, much better spot with a turnip in. We should be able to stack up a lot of spikes. We should be able to get that in power. Once we get our THORNBLOOM up though, every bit of empower is going to stack up our max life, which should be amazing. This turnip should be dealing massive, massive damage. And our stamina shouldn't be too much of an issue. That is a crazy amount of power. And honestly, these are looking super fantastic. Awesome. Now, we did survive 5 lives. We do have 7 rounds to go. We're going to go. And we're going to try and make this work. Let's go and grab a fanny pack. Should we grab our turnip right now? I think we are, and then we're going to roll. And that is another rat chef, which we are definitely going to want to take. And we're going to slot in this position for right now. I'm going to roll once more. That's another squirrel archer and another stone, so we can get our stone golem. We can get our stone golem right now. Get our next rat chef in, so we have 3 rat chefs to be stacking up that in power and that regen on our stamina. So we can definitely have in 2 turnips. Problem is, we do need a lot of storage to try to fit this all in. But this opponent is actually dealing quite a bit because they do have the THORNBLOOM and that squirrel archer. So unfortunately, they're a little bit ahead of us. They also have that hardwood, so their swords are actually dealing a lot of damage. So we got our rat chef. Let's take this for now. Let's take another stone. Let's take our squirrel. Let's roll. That's another bag of stones, which we are going to have to take and we're going to have to roll. Now, fantastic items, not a whole lot of storage. How are we going to fix this up? Now, unfortunately, we did change our setup around quite a bit. It's going to be a little bit better, but we are going to fall short in our bit of storage. We do have a lot of items that we do need to add in. We don't have a whole lot of storage, so we do have to move on, get our stamina stock, craft up another rat chef. So we should be able to get a lot of regen, and we should be able to stack up a lot of power. We'll also keep our stamina going, so our turn whips can actually smack back. Our opponent's stacking up a lot of debuffs, which unfortunately, there's not too much we can do about that. There's another squirrel, but I'm going to pass on the squirrel for right now. I'm just going to go grab this. Let's roll. Protective little purse is not ideal. We're going to take it. We're going to keep rolling. That's another garlic. Should we actually take it? I'm going to keep it going for now. We just want as much storage as possible. That's another squirrel, which would be amazing all the same. We are going to craft up another squirrel archer. And we are going to move on once again. Now, unfortunately, all these items, especially with our stoned in, we don't exactly have the best use of our stones. But with our shelter them in, we should be able to stack up a little bit more in power. And give us a tiny bit more healing, but our opponent is actually doing quite a bit of damage. We are stacking up that block. We are stealing our opponent's buffs. That's a lot of power. And we are answering back. And overall, we took so much of our buffs. And smashing. Now, they did eat up a lot with our staff fire along with our sun armor. And especially once they resurrected on top of it. However, not too bad. We got our squirrel archer. Amazing. Let's go grab our fanny back. Let's actually roll. We could have actually taken another bow. We'll take a hedgehog for now. We'll roll once more. Exactly the storage I was looking for. Because we can add in our turnip. And we can add in more stones for now too. Now let's keep rolling. And here we go. That's amazing first. I think we're going to sell our hedgehog immediately. And we are going to craft up THORNBLOOM. Now we are going to want some crit chance. Because crit chance with our stones and everything like that is going to be amazing. We're also going to add in a second shell to them. Now double THORNBLOOM would be straight up craziness. However, we'll see. Our opponent is going to be stacking up a lot of buffs. They're going to get that staff on healing. They're going to be dealing a lot of damage. However, we're also going to be dealing quite a bit of damage. We also have a ton of block. And so far, this is actually looking amazing. Except he did get that big burst heal. And that big burst heal from that Power of the Moon actually smashed this. It dealt so much damage. Even though we do have 50 DPS overall, our heals non-existent, our block not great. Once we get our THORNBLOOM in, we should be in a much better spot with our THORNBLOOM. And we're going to grab this bit of storage so we can slot that up. Let's take our crit chance. Let's go ahead and roll. Let's keep rolling. That's another squirrel. That's also another stone. We're going to take stone. We're going to roll again. And we're going to take the storage. Now let's roll once more. And holy moly, is that amazing. Now we did change our setup completely around. And we have our Amethyst Steel in this position. Targeting basically our stoned along with all our garlic. Which should be amazing. We do have a big bowl of treats in this position. With a bunch of our rat chefs around it. Which is kind of amazing. Now, I'm thinking about selling one of these. So we can actually grab this and craft up a second THORNBLOOM. Because once we get our second THORNBLOOM, we're going to be in a crazy good spot. And we're going to move on. Because we should have tons of block. We should have tons of stack and max life. And we should have tons of scaling damage. Now our opponent's actually doing quite a bit of damage. They have so much armor. They're stacking up a lot of power. They're also going to be removing our boat. So unfortunately, actually, we're stacking up a lot of max life. That is a lot of power. But unfortunately, it's still going to fall short. We're down to 5 life. But we should be in a really awesome spot with that THORNBLOOM. Now I'm going to grab this. I'm also going to grab a Divine Potion. I'm going to roll once. We're definitely going to need some more luck. And that's all we can really do. Now we didn't get the stone golem, which would have been amazing. We're just rocking these 2 stones. But we'll see. Our opponent is running staff on healing build. They're also going to be removing our buffs, which means our stone is not going to be providing as much block for us because that empower is going to be problematic. However, we still get the value from that stack of max life with our THORNBLOOMs, which is going to be awesome. The only problem is our THORNBLOOMs are not going to be dealing crazy damage. We're still stacking up that max life like crazy. That fatigue damage is going to be coming in and it's going to be hitting us pretty darn hard. Our opponent is stacking up a lot of buffs, but so far not looking too bad. And that's a crazy amount of life. And awesome. We still managed to stack up 18 power. I actually just want to check just how much power we actually did get throughout that whole fight. 83 power, which is kind of awesome. As for damage results, we managed to get only 45 DPS, but we did lose a lot of our buffs. We could have had 83 in power, which would have been amazing. Our opponent actually dealt 2000 damage, but we stacked up nearly 2000 life. So as for heals, our healing is really not that great, but as our maximum health gain, 50 per second, which is insane. As for block, 20 block per second on top of it, which is not too bad. And we could take this hard container. Would have been nice to get that stone golem online, but it is what it is. I'm going to roll. And we could actually sell this. Add in a pineapple for now. Well, let's roll once again and take this protective little purse. Slot it in here for now. Take out this stone. Add this divine potion in. Now, hedgehog would have been pretty darn good too. But let's roll for now. One more time. And that's that. Now, it would have been really awesome to get another pineapple to stack up a lot more spikes, but this is going to be a final setup. Double THORNBLOOM with some rat chefs to stack up a lot more power, giving us our stamina so we can actually rock 2 THORNBLOOMs. And on top of it, using stoned to stack up that empower on the stones to give us even more block. So overall, let's go and see, is this going to be good enough? Are we going to fall short? Can we survive? I'm going to slow this one down. We could be bursted down immediately from this setup. So this is going to be quite scary. There's going to be a lot of damage stacked up. But can we scale up our max life like crazy? As we scale up our damage, so far not looking too bad. We have 22 power already, and it's still scaling. They're after dealing massive damage to us, but that life scaling is incredible. Super close, but smashing. Honestly, Rat Chef with Squirrel Archers, with double THORNBLOOM, crazy fun. Stealing buffs, stealing damage, stacking up max life, stacking up power, stacking up block. And now, with our power intact, we managed to get a 54 DPS, which is not too bad. Definitely could be better, but it is what it is. As for heals, 11 healing per second, with a 53 per second max health gain. And then on top of it, with our block gains, 20 block, and 80 effective HP per second, between healing and block and max life gain. But anyways, I'm going to leave it here for now. Just want to say thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope you look out for the next one. See you next time. Okay, let's go and jump to some games with the Ranger and Scene just so we can do today. Healing Herbs on sale is amazing. I'm going to roll. I'm going to be looking for as much items on sale. Let's keep it going. We're going to grab the sword. Let's roll again. We definitely want a carrot. I'm going to grab a stone. Now, I know these weren't on sale, but they're going to have to do for right now. And I'm going to move on. Now, not a crazy good round one. We do have a ton of value in our Vinu basket, which should be pretty decent. However, our DPS is going to be super low, but so is our opponents. We have a similar setup, except we have a lot more defenses, so we should be able to smash out. Our opponent does have crit chance, which does give him a little bit more DPS than us altogether. Also, they have a little bit more accuracy, which does increase your DPS also. However, we do have increased healing efficiency, so we should be able to win out in the long run. I'm going to roll. I'm going to craft up a shell totem. I'm going to grab a short bow. I'm going to continue to roll. That is a bag of stones. I'm going to reserve this for now, and I'm going to roll once. I do want to find as much short bows as possible. We could go for a bag of stones with that shell totem, and we probably should have, but honestly, I do want to try and go for those squirrel archers as much as possible. So I'm going to prioritize grabbing as much short bows as we can possibly find and shoving them into our backpack and seeing what we can do from here. Now, this one does have a lot of damage, and unfortunately, it's looking pretty bad for us. Yeah, they just had a little bit too much damage for us. We should be in a much better spot with our shell totem. I'm actually going to grab some healing herbs. Let's grab the storage. Let's roll once. That's a short bow. I'm going to want this lucky clover. Now I'm going to continue on. Probably should prioritize grabbing a leather bag also. But this should be pretty decent. Now with our Shell Totem, we should be able to get a lot more healing, and since we have so much nature items, our healing efficiency should be a lot better. So it should make it a lot easier to get them power stacking up. However, we are dependent on one little short bow to deal a lot of damage. I'm glad that this isn't a Maul and Dagger because it would have had a lot more scaling damage. Our opponent just has flat damage. So our Shell Totem should be able to keep us alive as they don't have scaling damage. And overall, smashing. Now we do have a choice to make. If we did take that bag of stones, we could have took stone for right now. However, I'm going to prioritize taking Smelly Wall over Mana Mastery. It's just going to be as good. Let's grab this for now. Let's go ahead and grab our storage, which means you can't grab this. I'm still going to roll once. And honestly, I'm going to go for a card cupboard. I'm going to move our Smelly Wall into this situation because it is a nature item. It should be perfect. I actually do want another stone too. Even though we don't get stoned, we can take it in the next round. Next time the skills show up if you do want to. We should be in a really, really good spot now with 2 short bows and a Shell Totem. And with Smelly Wall, we should be able to get a bit of block so we can keep our power stacked up. However, our stamina is not going to be super great without a big old banana. So maybe we needed to prioritize grabbing a banana. And so far, our opponent's actually doing a lot of damage. They had the spicy banana, keeping them quite healthy. They also have that Shell Totem too. And unfortunately, that Shell Totem doing a little bit too much for opponents. Now we're actually going to grab a carrot. We're actually going to grab the gooberts. We're going to grab you too. Also going to grab a stone. And we're going to craft out that card gooberts. We are going to move on with this setup. This should be pretty good because our cards do trigger pretty fast. And overall should be smashing. We should get even more healing, which means we should be able to consistently keep arm power stacked up. Our opponent is also running Shell Totem too. They're stacking up their power, but they do have that bag of stones. They do also have that burning torch, and they do have double garlics, which is going to be super problematic for us. And unfortunately, we are still going to fall short. Which is not super ideal, but it is what it is. Our opponent just has way more value than us. We're down to our second last life, which is going to be problematic. Let's go ahead and grab our leather bag. Let's add in our stones for now. Let's grab our lucky clover. Let's roll once. That's another short bow, which should be awesome. I'm actually going to slot this in like so we can actually have our garlic down in this position. Let's add this in here. Let's grab our shiny shell. Let's grab a short bow. We can't exactly fit it in but right now, and we are going to move on. Now we should be able to get a little bit of damage increase with our card gooberts with a Shell Totem, which should be fantastic. Our opponent is running Slime Time with that double axe, well, normal axe, so they're going to be scaling up a lot of damage. But these short bows should be able to deal quite a bit of damage with our card gooberts. However, we don't have a ton of healing because card goobert just cleanse random debuffs. And that axe is scaling up a lot of damage. And unfortunately, we are going to go down another life, which is super, super problematic. We're going to grab a banana. We're going to grab this fanny pack. Let's roll again. One more time. We're going to reserve this leather bag. Let's roll once more. And I do actually want this rogue potion because I do kind of want to go for a THORNBLOOM setup. But we're going to leave the pineapple for now. And we are going to rock on with the situation. Our opponent just has a burning sword. They don't have any extra weapons. So we should be in a pretty decent spot. And we did add in our banana, but our stamina is still not going to be super, super great. We should be able to make more use of all that power among 3 of our short bows. Our opponent does get a big burst steal from the power of the moon, which could be problematic for us. However, it's not looking too bad. And awesome. And we do get our life back, which is pretty darn fantastic. And I do want to go for Beastmaster since we have our card gooberts. And I'm looking to craft up a Squirrel Archer. Now we're going to grab this, we're going to slot this in here, and we are going to craft up our Squirrel Archer. Now for this round, I'm actually going to grab this particular little purse. Let's go ahead and grab this too. Let's start adding this stuff back in. Now once you craft up our Squirrel Archer, we should be in a pretty good spot because they're not going to use up a whole lot of stamina. So it should be awesome. However, our opponent is going to have a lot of damage with that spear. They're going to have a lot of healing, so they should be able to stack up a lot of power, but we have stacked up a crazy amount of power. And we're going to be stealing their buffs, which should be awesome. Every time they do stack up that in power, we are going to be taking it for ourselves. And that's a lot of power stacked up. So we should be in a really, really good spot. And smashing. Now we got a Squirrel Archer, which on hit, steal a random buff, triggers 15% faster for each pet or food item. Which means I'm going to grab a set of blueberries, that way we can stack up a lot of mana for ourselves. I'm going to grab Heroic Potion. I'm going to roll. Let's keep going. One more time. And smashing. That's going to be really, really, really awesome because that's going to be a lot of stacking max life. But unfortunately, we do have to roll on with the situation for now. Okay. And we did prioritize the blueberries over the shell totem because it's going to be a little bit faster. And that should be pretty good. We do want to find more cards and we do want to start stacking up in power that way with our big bowl of treats on top of it. Which should be pretty good. Now I'm going to say Skeleton Archer. These Squirrel Archers should be dealing a lot of damage and it just consistently removing our opponent's buffs for ourselves is just going to be crazy, crazy good. However, we do have a choice to make. We could take a Mana Mastery so we stack up our mana pretty fast. So we keep stacking up our luck. Honestly, it's not a great value for Mana Mastery. However, we do get Acorn Ace, which does make our Acorn colors a little bit better. So I'm thinking we're still going to take this one. Not a ton of value, but we're still going to take it. And we're going to take our potion belts, and we are going to craft this up this round, for sure. Which means I'm actually going to take this, and we're going to slot this down in this position. So we can have this in like so, and we're going to craft you up. Now we do actually want to grab the rat because we can craft up a rat chef, which is one of these little dudes, which every 5 seconds regenerate 2 stamina and gain 1 power. Which is going to be fantastic. We are going to have to move on. We are going to have to craft up our THORNBLOOM. But we'll see, our opponent is literally rocking Dragon Skill Armor with the anvil. They're going to be stacking up a lot of max life. That axe is going to be scaling up a lot of damage. But any buffs they do get from our cheese goobers, they're going to be our buffs, thanks to good old Squirrel Archer. And this is looking pretty darn awesome. We have a ton of buffs and smashing. Now, if we did have 1 extra stone, I would genuinely take this heart container, but unfortunately, we don't exactly have it. Let's take our squirrel, or let's take our rat for now. Let's craft open the rat chef. Let's grab another set of healing herbs. Let's roll once. Twice even. And we do want an extra luck, and we also want this leather bag. Now, we really do need an acorn collar, that's for sure. We are going to move on. We're going to craft up a rat chef, and this should be pretty darn awesome. We should be able to scale up a lot of max life with our card goobers. With our Squirrel Archer, we'll be stealing a lot of buffs. And if we do steal in power, it's going straight to our life. Now, stamina is going to be an issue, but once we get our good old rat chef in, it's not going to be as much of an issue. However, we're definitely going to need the storage. We're going to actually place this down here so then we can have a rat chef in this position. We're going to roll once, twice even, 3 times. Now let's go ahead and add in a rat, craft up another rat chef. And we could potentially go for second THORNBLOOM, which I'm definitely down for. We'll see, with a rat chef in, we should be able to get even more regen. Well, it's actually only 2, so it is basically the same amount as the healing herbs. We should be able to get a little bit more in power, which means we can stack up our life. And honestly, card goobers going to get poison ivy. It's just going to be removing any poison that our opponent does stack up. And overall, smashing. And we're going to start off with a fanny pack. We're going to grab this lucky clover. Let's grab this and let's roll. That's another freaking Squirrel Archer. I'm going to sell our stone. I'm going to regret it because another stone is literally going to show up in the next shop. But it is what it is. I definitely want another Squirrel Archer. I'm going to add this rat chef down below, which should be awesome. I'm not actually going to add in our THORNBLOOM as of right now. We are going to move on. Now with 2 rat chefs in, we should be able to scale up a lot more in power. And we should be able to use up a lot more stamina. And once we get a second THORNBLOOM in with a lot of these Squirrel Archers, we're going to be scaling up a lot of max life. And we're just going to be stealing all our opponent's buffs, which should be pretty darn awesome. Speaking of pretty darn awesome, that's another Squirrel Archer. I'm going to roll. That's also another rat chef, which I'm going to grab both these for right now, which means I'm going to have to reserve this acorn collar. We are going to craft you up, and we're going to move on once again. And once we get a third Squirrel Archer in, we should be in a pretty darn good spot. Because any buffs that our opponent does get, these squirrels are just going to be instantly stealing them, and they're going to be making fantastic use of this in power. And this is just looking insanely powerful. That's for sure. Just adding damage to our squirrels so we can actually just steal buffs and just give them damage. And let's see, we do actually have a 43 DPS, which is not too bad. Vast majority will come from a THORNBLOOM. then our short bow, then our squirrel archers. As for heals, we don't have a crazy amount of healing, but we do have a crazy amount of max life stacking. And once we get our second THORNBLOOM in, that's going to double. As for block, not super great. Well, let's keep going for now. We should be in a pretty darn good spot. Now let's grab this. Let's also grab another bow. Let's go ahead and craft up another squirrel archer. But I'm going to roll once. And how am I not going to be taking more squirrels? We also want another set of healing herbs. But I'll be back in a second while I sort the inventory out. Now, I actually think we're going to sell our shell totem, even though that was giving us a lot of empower anyway. We're also going to sell you and we're going to grab another squirrel. I'm actually going to take out our THORNBLOOM for this round. Well, our Thorn Whip. And we are going to craft up another squirrel archer. Now, we did change the setup around to be quite different. We do have our acorn collar in this position. And thanks to the Acorn Ace, we're going to have 100... We're going to have all that crit chance on our squirrel archers. Which is going to be amazing. And we have them all around the card goobers because all our pets have a 20% chance to activate twice. Which should be fantastic. Now we're going to roll on. And we'll see what we can do with the setup for right now. Now our opponent is running Holy Spear. We're also going to be stacking up a lot of poison. But with our card goobers in, we should be able to cleanse all that poison. As we stack up our max life. And just steal all our opponent's buffs. They cannot skill up their mana. And this is just way too strong. Well, it's way too strong going up against people who do rely on buffs, because our squirrels are actually stealing quite a bit. And our DPS, honestly, isn't crazy insane. And our max life isn't crazy insane. The fact that we just remove a lot of buffs, that is the crazy part. Let's grab our healing herbs, let's grab our squirrel, let's roll once. Let's grab this. Let's actually sell our healing herbs, and let's go ahead and grab another squirrel. Now, I am tempted to grab another acorn collar, but I do kind of want to craft up a second THORNBLOOM. But can we actually afford to? I'm going to take our acorn collar, that way we get even more crit chance, and should increase our DPS quite significantly. Now, if our opponent is rocking a lot of luck, we should be able to steal all their luck, and I'm wondering, can we steal up all their heats before they can stack it up? However, if we do stack their spikes, they cannot actually scale up their heats, but they're actually stacking up a lot of heats. And honestly, this is looking pretty good. They do get that big burst heal, and that's a crazy amount of heat stacked up, but that's a lot of empower stacked up for ourselves. These squirrel archers dealing 20 damage per hit. And overall awesome. Now our opponents, it did have that bird, which was removing our crit chance, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. And actually, hell yeah, we're going to be crafting up with our squirrel archer. Let's go ahead and get even more crit chance. We probably should be prioritizing grabbing some spike stacking, and we could craft up another rat chef. Should we say goodbye to our turnip then? Honestly, I think double THORNBLOOM with these rat chefs, it's just going to be crazy good. We're going to sell it for right now because that just gives us exactly enough to craft up another rat chef, and it's going to increase our squirrel archers even more. And we are going to move on once again. Now, can we deal with this ranger? They do have Pandemonium, they do have the big BOWL of treats, they are rocking a flame up, which should be pretty good. But again, we're going to be stealing all their buffs. Any heat that do stack up, we have the potential to steal. We're also going to be stealing up their empower. And these squirrel archers are dealing so much damage. And overall, smashing. And we only have a 50% crit chance on all our squirrel archers, which is not too bad. We definitely could have increased. It for sure. Now I'm going to roll. And one way we could actually increase it is by actually taking this mana orb. Because with the mana orb in, if we do scale up 10 mana, it means our blueberries are going to be giving us a lot more luck generation. And holy moly, is that a heroic potion. We could have literally crafted up a THORNBLOOM, but this is the final round, so unfortunately, we couldn't exactly do that, to be quite honest. I'm actually tempted to actually slot this in here for now, and then actually flip this down here. That is going to be a hell of a lot more crit chance. Now I'm going to roll, and we could have crafted up one final squirrel archer. Now, Smelly Wall didn't actually get a ton of value. We've only had one little garlic, which is not super deal. We're also not stacking up a lot of block, so it is what it is. Let's keep it rolling, and actually, this is actually amazing. Because that is going to be double luck scaling for us once we do get our 10 mana. Now, it might be too long to get our 10 mana, but it is what it is, and we could get one final rat chef. Also, crazy amount of items in the final rounds that we could have used. This is going to be a fun setup. Card goobered into a bunch of squirrel archers. Amazing, and it would have been awesome to get double THORNBLOOM. Because of it, rat chefs giving us back stamina, it is going to be super possible to have a Rat Chef THORNBLOOM type build. We've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 freaking Squirrel Archers, which should be crazy insane for us. And we're going to see, is this going to be enough? Can we win out? Honestly, stacking max life, taking our opponent's buffs, should be fantastic. Because anytime our opponent is going to be stacking up that regen, we can take it instantly. However, they did stack up a lot of blind on us. Actually, this could be our downfall. And we do cleanse a lava with our card cupboards. But honestly, it is a crazy amount of blinds. And actually, this is looking quite scary. However, we have a crazy amount of power. And that blind is disappearing. Once that blind disappears, we're in a fantastic spot. And actually, it wasn't even close. At first, it looked quite scary, but once that blind disappeared, we're in a fantastic spot. Now, our DPS, after all, was about 40 DPS, but when you considering the amount of blind that our opponent did have on us, we didn't actually have a full 100% crit chance. So basically, this could have been 60% of our actual true damage. So we could have had a more close to over 60 DPS. As for heals, we had 10 healing per second, and then we also had a 27 max health gains, which is pretty darn good. But overall, if you did have an extra THORNBLOOM in, that would have been doubled, so we would have had a 50 heal per second. And honestly, with all these Squirrel Archers, you'd still be stealing all those buffs, dealing all that damage basically from a THORNBLOOM. And overall, it's just fantastic setup. So I do believe Squirrel Archers, Rat Chefs are amazingly awesome. Maybe even a little bit too good. But that's going to be a big buff to our THORNBLOOM. For sure. But hey, these guys look awesome. I'm going to leave it here for now. We did survive 3 lives left. And I just want to say thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope to see you looking for the next one. See you next time.